Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 9th Chapter, text number 14. Kalpanya etadakilam jatarena grinam shete pumam sadaganam tasakastaram te yanna visindurvikam shanaloki padma garde yuman bhagavate pranatos mitasmai kalpa ante. At the end of the millennium, etat, this universe, akilam, all, jatarena, within the belly, grinam, withdrawing, shete, lies down, Brahman, the Supreme Person, Svadrik, looking upon himself, Ananta, the unlimited being, Shesha, Saka, accompanied by Tat Anke, on his lap, Yat, from whose, Nabhi, navel, Sindhu, ocean, Ruha, sprouted, Kanchana, golden, Loka, planet, Padma, of the lotus, Garbhe, on the whirl, Dhumam, Lord Dhamma, Bhagavate, under the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Pranata, offering obeisances, Asmi, I am, Tasmai, unto him. Translation and purport: by his divine grace on Vishnu Pad Padamahamsapati Vajrakacharya Astatara Shishi Marisi Bhakti Vedantati Dandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Shagad Guru. My dear Lord, at the end of every millennium, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, dissolves everything manifested within the universe into his body. He lies down on the lap of Sheshanag. From his navel sprouts a golden lotus flower on a stem, and in that lotus, Lord Brahma is created. I can understand that you are the Supreme Godhead. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport: Dhruva Maharaj's understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is complete. In the Vedas it is said, Yasmin Jagate Sarvamevam Vigatam Bhavati. Knowledge received through the transcendental causeless mercy of the Lord is so perfect that by that knowledge the devotee becomes acquainted with all the different manifestations of the Lord. Lord Kshirodakashai Vishnu was present before Dhruva Maharaj, who could understand also the Lord's two other forms, namely Garbhodakashai Vishnu and Karanadakashai Mahavishnu. Regarding Mahavishnu, it is stated in the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 48, Yashyaika Nishmasita Kailam Matam Valam Yajivanti Loma Vilaja Jaganandanata Vishnur Mahansahya Yashakalam Vishesha Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Vajami. At the end of each and every millennium, when all the material worlds are dissolved, everything enters the body of Garbhodakashai Vishnu, who is lying on the lap of Sheshanag, another form of the Lord. Those who are not devotees cannot understand the different forms of Vishnu and their positions in regard to the creation. Sometimes the atheists argue, how can a flower sprout from the navel of Garbhodakashai Vishnu? They considered all the statements of the Shastras to be stories. As a result of their inexperience in the absolute truth and their reluctance to accept authority, they become more and more atheistic. They cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But a devotee like Dhruva Maharaj, with the grace of the Lord, knows all the manifestations of the Lord and their different positions. It is said that anyone who has even a little of the Lord's grace can understand his glories. Others may go on speculating in the absolute truth, but they will always be unable to understand the Lord. In other words, unless one comes in contact with the devotee, it is not possible to understand the transcendental form of the spiritual world and its transcendental activity. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Vadijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Svaminiti Namane Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtabdeshatarine. Yes, without set aside, without the devotee, you can't really know. They go on speculating in this way and that way. They come out either say, God is dead, or I'm God, you're God, we're all God. We're all avatars. You'd say something. I remember, previously I was a Mayavadi. I said, it was on a meeting. The so-called guru said, we're all avatars. He said, the guru said, yeah, that was very good. So I come out of that Mayavadi background, I know it very well. I embrace Mayavadi philosophy because of bad association, actually. I'm God, you're God, we're all God. It's a very popular thing. I was so foolish when I first went to the Hare Krishna temple. I was chanting Hare Krishna, and the Brahmachari said, oh, you're chanting so nicely. I was thinking, oh, if she only knew that I'm Krishna. I've come a long way. Going to the temple and thinking I was Krishna. I've come a long way by the mercy of the devotees. I went through what's called the school of hard knocks. I got bashed again and again and again. And when I entered the draft board, I didn't think I was Krishna. When they wanted to send me to Vietnam, I didn't think I was Krishna then. Boy, I was saying, God, please, God, don't even go to me. Please, dear God, please. I was just begging, and where Krishna let me out. So with the school of hard knocks, my idea of I was God became smashed down a little bit. And I finally came to the point of actually going down to the Bible. It's interesting. I was there in Houston around December of 68, I guess, of 69, 70. There was a devotee, a Bluk devotee. Can you imagine this? There was a Nityananda Das who Bluk and became a Mormon. We were in the grocery store. I was with my mother in the grocery store in the produce department. And he approached us and invited me for his Bible study. A Blue devotee invited me for his Bible study. And so I went, he would come and pick me up every morning like at 7 o'clock or something. He lived only like a half a mile from me. Same neighborhood, just right across the railroad tracks. His name is Frank McIntyre was his Karmi name. And Nityananda was his former devotee. But it's interesting, he had a copy of TLC still sitting on his bookshelf. He still had TLC sitting there. So anyway, the result of going to his Bible studies was I got interested in the Bible. Because I wanted to become self-realized. I knew I wasn't. And I was thinking, well, Jesus is self-realized. I was reading the Bible, trying to figure out what made Lord Jesus Christ a self-realized soul. And one day, Eureka, I found it. He said, Father, not my will, but thy will be done. Oh, that's it. You just got to do what God wants, not what you want. But I had only one problem. What was that? I didn't know what God wanted me to do. What to do? And I didn't know how to find the answer. I've told the story many times. But how it happened. Some little girl actually, and through the mouth of the little girl, the Lord enlightened me that God can hear you. So wow, I can't hear Him, but He can hear you. So now I know that through this little girl, the Lord has revealed to me He can hear me. So now I'm just going to ask Him, dear God, please guide me how I become Your perfect servant. Then one Sunday morning, I was staying with I was just a hippie singer-songwriter. I didn't work a job. I would just stay with different people, the hippie life. play songs, write songs, and stay with different people who like my music. I didn't work a job, I just played the guitar and wrote songs, about 300 of them actually. But anyway, I was there with Mike Bridges, and his friend Margaret, who lived a half a block down the street, she came to his house one Sunday morning, and she said, there's a Hare Krishna Swami in town, he'd be at my apartment in 1 hour. Boom, I was there. And who was it? Vishnu Jana Swami. He said, we're having a program today in Peace Park, would you like to come? So, that's how I began my association with the devotees. As Prabhupada said, quite devotees association, unless one comes in contact with a devotee, it is not possible to understand the transcendental form of the spiritual world as transcendental activity. Well, by associating with a blue devotee, you still have TLC in his shelf. And through that, and the little girl revealing that God can hear me, God sent that little girl to me. Then I got the Vishnu Association. You know what Prabhupada told me? In one letter he said, you have been trained up in the expert guidance of His Holiness Vishnu Jana Maharaj. So Vishnu Jana Maharaj is very, very kind to me, very kind. I wasn't a devotee yet. Here I was a long-haired hippie singer-songwriter, still hanging out with devotees, you know. Thinking I write songs, Krishna conscious songs nowadays. But anyway, I went to the Lord Chaitanya Festival in Dallas, in Lee Park. It was really an amazing festival. They blocked off the whole street coming down to the park, and we had a big, huge diorama of Lord Chaitanya, about 20 feet high diorama of Lord Chaitanya, carrying down the street, chanting and dancing, and so many hippies came. We filled up the park, we had a big feast. Since I had a long hair and beard, they had a drama, the Kazi drama. He said, you can play the Kazi. So they had an old clay madonna that was already broken, but it looked okay. So in the drama, in the play, I smashed that clay, completely smashed it to smithereens. But then I went back came down to Austin. There was a guy named Robin Ferris who had a Hare Krishna. He wasn't a devotee. He had a Hare Krishna haircut. He was selling incense and Prabhupada's books at the hippie street market in front of the co-op there by the university. It was a big hippie street market. That's why they moved into the side eventually. It was one of the side when nobody uses it. But they used to sit on blankets right in front of the co-op, like 30 hippies. They had blankets up there selling this and that and this and that, but no drugs. So anyway, I was friends with Robin Ferris also. And let's see. And Robin Ferris, he thought I should get a Hare Krishna haircut. He took me to his barber who had given him a Hare Krishna haircut. So I went with Robin Ferris, took me to his barber, and I got a Hare Krishna haircut. And then I came back to the temple. The brahmacharis are really angry. Now, who authorized you to do that? These are new brahmacharis, I just joined. Who authorized you to do that? Who do you think you are getting a Hare Krishna haircut? What was Vishnu Jan's response? He was on the phone with Mohananda, the president of Dallas. He said, guess what? The Kazi shaved up. So Vishnu Jan celebrated it. Even though I wasn't a devotee yet. But he knew the art of Vishnu Jan Swami knew the art of making devotees, and he made many, many devotees. He knew the art of how to make devotees. He knew that he had that magic wand. He made so many devotees. And he's a very, very empowered preacher. Very, very empowered preacher. I have his picture right there on my desk. 2 pictures actually. And I still worship in my heart. He had some difficulty, but then he committed suicide in Triveni. He actually had some fall down with sex. And the dependency when committing suicide, the place where committing suicide is auspicious. Usually it's bad to commit suicide. But the Triveni, he committed suicide there, so it's thought that he went back to Godhead because of committing suicide in Triveni. So I look forward to going back to Godhead and offering him and giving him my obeisances. I really look forward to that. I very much look forward to them. Because he really blessed me by his wonderful preaching that I decided, yes, I will become a disciple of Prabhupada. So when I got that shelter of Srila Prabhupada, then my whole perspective changed, you see. My whole perspective changed. And I remember and I had just heard about it, and then we went to the Ratha Yatra Festival, 71 in Golden Gate Park, and how I got to see Prabhupada. Oh, wow! We went to the airport, right? And there was 300 of us there, having a kirtan. Those days you go in the terminal, not like nowadays. You go right to the terminal up to the gate where they're coming in, right? So there's 150 devotees on each side, up and down, up and down. All these karmis are coming off the airplane going, wow. Well, maybe it's San Francisco, I guess it's okay here. Because the hippie place, you know. Although they explain the different things in San Francisco, but they see all these devotees, the karmis came up, the state of awe, what's going on here? What's going on? And the last one off, I expected like 20 feet high, you know, but it's a little short, maybe 5 foot something. And Prabhupada, Jagadguru, the spiritual master of the universe. I saw it, put my eyes on him for the first time. So wonderful. We all hit the pavement, you know, done about. And then, I don't know what the authorities thought, but they thought it would be auspicious for Prabhupada to walk in a trail of yogurts through the airport terminal. So they put yogurt on the floor. He's walking in a trail of yogurt all the way through the yogurt terminal. And no one said anything. Then we got out there for his ride, and guess what? There was no ride. And there's actually pictures of that. I can show you sometimes in the picture. Prabhupada's standing there, all the devotees around him. He's standing outside the terminal, right there with, you know, driving cars full up. And there's no car. But we devotees in Austin were so stupid. We had a car. We didn't offer. I wasn't the driver. But Dvija Hari was the driver. We didn't offer our car to Prabhupada. We were so stupid. Actually, every devotee had a car there. We all had cars to get there. No one offered Prabhupada their car. Can you imagine? We just let him stand there and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And finally the car came. But what I did is our devotees from Austin left early, left him at the airport. We drove away in our car, leaving him standing there. Can you imagine how idiotic we were? But I was thinking, let me be at the park when he arrives so I can greet him there. So I was there when Prabhupada arrived at the park, and we got him Subhadra's car to give the most wonderful lecture. Every day he was tasting water, once, twice, and more than that. Every time you drink water, you remember that Krishna is the taste of the water. In this way, you immediately become Krishna conscious. Did you know you become Krishna conscious by drinking water in the right mood? I actually put it on my canteen. I wrote it with a permanent thing that says, I am the taste of water. So every time I put it in my canteen, I can remember, yeah, this is Krishna. And actually, any liquid thing, even a lemonade, or, you know. I am the taste of water. Rasa ham apsukam te. So in this way, my spiritual life began. We got to. He gave the most wonderful lecture at the beginning of the parade, and he gave 2 lectures. At the beginning of the parade, there was like 3,000 people, 300 devotees, and it was a grand festival. Let me tell you. And we went to the part. I think it was Lindsley Mehta we went to in the Golden Gate Park. And then another lecture was there. And then Prabhupada went to Los Angeles. So we went down to Los Angeles. And it was so wonderful. One morning, Prabhupada went on his morning walk, and we're all lined up to greet him, and he comes back with a flower. Prabhupada is a whole line. Everyone gives Prabhupada a flower, and he gives you one. That was a wonderful thing. So guess who was first in the line? He didn't get a flower, he got a hug. Vishnu Swami got a hug. Prabhupada got out and embraced him. Vishnu. I felt so good seeing him get embraced by Prabhupada. He was my man. I was his man, he was my man, and my man was getting embraced by Prabhupada. It's so wonderful. He's getting embraced by Prabhupada. It's so wonderful. That's how I was feeling. And I was like the second or third one in line, right near the front. So I had my flower, I gave it to Prabhupada, and he handed me a flower. So now I have a flower in my hand. Wow, I have this flower given me by Prabhupada. A flower right in Prabhupada's hand. I had this flower, it's as good as Prabhupada himself, it's right here in my hand. What to do with it? They're also in a glass case, right? You put it on your mantle. Well, you're in your brahmachari, you know, the house, but man, what's the brahmachari going to do? I said, I know what I'll do, I'll eat this stuff. Or it's over in my body. This is Prabhupada's mercy. This flower is Prabhupada's mercy. Directly from Prabhupada's hand, this is full mercy. I'm going to eat this flower. Normally you don't eat flowers, right? But I ate that flower that day. Then Prabhupada's coming down the line, one after another. And there's in that building, there's some steps going in. It's the temple room now. If you go to LA, there's some steps going up into the temple room. So I stood up on those steps just to have a darshan of my beloved spiritual master. I wasn't initiated yet, but he was my guru, okay? I wasn't initiated, but he was definitely my guru. There's no doubt about it. I'm Prabhupada's disciple, and that's it. I'm going to initiate me. So he came by, and he looked up, and he saw this brahmachari. He was not in the flower queue. He looked up at me. There's a brahmachari standing on the steps. Prabhupada wondered, I wonder if he got a flower or not yet. He didn't remember me, because he didn't know so many faces. Actually, he hadn't eaten the flower yet. So Prabhupada made a gesture like, did you get a flower? And I held up my flower and showed him. Then I ate it after that. So guess what happened? The two devotees who had first joined there in Austin, they got initiated. But I didn't get initiated. I was terrified. What if I die? What if Prabhupada dies? What if I miss this chance to be initiated? I was actually there's some space between the two buildings. I was walking back and forth and actually weeping that I might not get initiated. I might not get initiated. I was weeping and weeping. I missed this opportunity. Prabhupada is my guru. I was just crying and weeping. But that was July. But the wonderful thing must happen. We got back to Austin. Now my six-month rule, you see. But I got back to Austin, the 6 months was up, and Vishnu John Swami wrote a letter off to Prabhupada now in London now. He wrote a letter off, he said, I recommend these three boys, Steve Bridge, Ron the Beadman, and Chris Pinkert. I recommend these three boys for initiation. Prabhupada wrote a letter about accepting as his disciples. You've all been trained up under the expert guidance of His Holiness Vishnu. 9 months was one of the letters that Prabhupada wrote. Was one of the letters. A letter from Prabhupada to me. He gave me my name, Sankarshan Das. He said another name for Vishnu. I have a name now. I'm Prabhupada's disciple. Now I'm saved from the cycle of birth and death. I'm saved from all this hell I've been going through for millions and millions of lifetimes. Now by the mercy of Prabhupada I'm saved. So I wrote Prabhupada. I collected some dakshina there. You're supposed to collect dakshina to get initiated. So there was some 3 checks. Actually, it's interesting, the mayor of Austin, can you imagine the mayor showed up for my initiation ceremony? Our newcomer president of Vishnu Dharma in San Antonio was Ishan, who just come to London with his wife Babavati and his little daughter Saraswati. No, some other name. So he was used to associating with the Beatles in London. He was thinking any big person will come, so he invited the mayor of Austin. The mayor showed up. So my dad's mom drove up from Houston. My dad is sitting there chatting with the mayor of Austin as his son's initiation ceremony. Can you imagine the impression I had on my dad? The mayor is attending it. That is an amazing impact on my father, let me tell you right now. He's sitting chatting with the mayor of Austin at his son's initiation ceremony here in Austin. So now when you collect the doctrine, you have to give it to the spiritual master, right? Well, now I got a chance to write a Prabhupada letter. And I said, Srila Prabhupada, I want to spread this movement. And he wrote me back the most wonderful, wonderful blessing. I've said it many times, but I must say it again to those men that I've heard it before. Father said, I can see you're a very sincere and enthusiastic boy, eager to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. He said, now continue enthusiastically as you are doing, and surely Krishna will bless you. That's an exact quote, word for word. I memorized that. That sits in my heart, that instruction. You see. Prabhupada ordered me to be enthusiastic for making this world Krishna conscious. Now, I know I'm not perfect. I make so many mistakes, so many Vaishnava parades. I have so many bad qualities, but that order still sits in my heart. I can see you're very enthusiastic boy, eager to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. Now continue enthusiastic as you're doing, and surely Krishna will bless you. So in the case of these 50 what is it, 51 years now, over half a century. 51 years of serving this mission. I'm Krishna, by Prabhupada and Prabhupada's disciples have blessed me with so many realizations, so many realizations, so many realizations. Prabhupada here talks about atheism. I've given it before, but I'd like to give it again. It's a very powerful argument to treat atheism by logic. Now, this Mahamudha rascal, Dr. Stephen Hawking, says everything comes out of nothing. But my dear Dr. Hawkins, can you show me any evidence of even one thing, any scientific evidence of even one thing coming out of nothing? A mosquito, maybe, or a peanut? Can you show me even one thing anywhere in the entire universe that comes out of nothing? You can't do it. It's just speculation. Atheists are speculators. Try to understand. Atheists are maha-speculators. They're big, big speculators. That's all they are. With fancy arguments, it's just speculation. It's not scientific. Scientifically, we can see that things come from things. Everything comes from something. So there's a chain of causality. And the beginning of that chain, that is God. Sarva karana karanam. Brahmaji says Krishna is the cause of all causes. So how do you understand it as the cause of all causes? Now the atheists will argue, okay, you Hare Krishna, a line of causality, I accept. But it's an infinite line of causality with no original cause. You see, the atheists may counter-argue. There's an infinite line of causality with no cause. So how do we defeat that one? Well, it's very simple. Consider an infinite row of dominoes, right? And when the dominoes, like one falls over, zoom, right? One falls over, they go zoom, they all fall down. Now, if they're all an infinite row of dominoes, and one doesn't fall down on its own, there's no motion, nothing happens. You see? So therefore, there has to be one domino that has the power to fall over on its own. You see? The cause of all causes. There has to be a cause of all causes that's not caused. Logically, pure logic and science, there has to be a cause that causes everything that's not caused. You see? There we have it. There's Krishna. You may say, okay, but it's just a machine. It's not a person. It's impersonal. Well, can you show me any machine that can turn itself on without a person flipping the switch? Just show me, Bhakti Avatar. Show me one machine that turns itself on without something programming, without a human being programming it. Can you show me one example? No. There's no such thing. Machines require persons. Mechanical processes require persons behind them to get them moving. So there you got it. There's a supreme person, the cause of all causes. Just by pure logic, without any slates in scripture, just pure logic. Just pure logic, that's all. You see? So, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Ramdir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Sarva Karana Karanam, right there. Brahmaji recognized exactly what we understood by pure scientific logic. Brahmaji understood. But he not only understood it, he actually could perceive Krishna. He could see Krishna. He had a vision of the spiritual world. Can you imagine that? Waking up one morning and seeing the whole spiritual world, you see? Chintam mani prakata sarmatu kalpa viksha laksha vriteshu sudavira vipalayantam lakshmi sahasra shasatam ramate vyamanam govindamadi purusham Tamam Bhajami. Worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who was tending. He actually could see it. Who was tending. He could see how, first of all, he saw how he was chapter 5, verse 1, he saw that Krishna was the cause of all causes. That's the first thing he saw. And then beyond that, he saw what he was up to, what he was doing. He's tending the cows. Can you imagine that supreme person who has control over everything? He likes to tend cows? He likes to be a cowherd boy? Can you imagine? He gets ecstasy from tending cows? is tending the cows, and where? In abodes built with spiritual gems. Can you imagine a planet made with gems? Valuable gems? In abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees. Those purpose trees are wish-fulfilling trees. That tree will give you whatever you want, not like just some rotten apple with worms in it. You see? The wish, tending the cows in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, and always serve with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. Amazing pastimes, you know. I'm just reading this morning about the Brahma Lila, Brahma Vimohana Lila pastime. It's amazing. Krishna had thousands of boyfriends, okay? Thousands. And how many calves did his boyfriend have? Thousands. Can you imagine what a scene that would be to try to do it in a movie? I mean, Hollywood couldn't even handle it. It was artificial something. They couldn't, realistically, they couldn't put many calves on the field. You see? Can you imagine that? He was tending the cows in those little spiritual gems. And then Ramaji continues. Venum panantam alavindaraya taksam varavratam samasitam buddhasondarangam kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesha shalvam govindamadi purusham tamam bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, who is adept at playing on his flute. Well, how good is he on the flute anyway? Actually, he's a supreme flute player. Nobody can come close to Krishna's flute playing. Nobody comes even close. No one can even dream of coming close to what he can do on that flute. He was adept at playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals. Wow! He has eyes like lotus petals, head decked with peacock feathers, and his figure beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds. Wow! Can you imagine what a person is? Alovatanna kadatandanamaya vamsi ratnam kanam kanayate kaladidasham shamam tibangaladitam niyata prakasham govindamari purusham tamam bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, who is Shama Sundar Krishna, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers beautified with a moon locket. Woo! The moon locket. I don't even know about that. That would be pretty amazing. Round his neck is swinging a garland of flowers blue with a moon locket. His two hands were on the flute and jeweled ornaments. Not only flute, but jeweled ornaments. Who always reveled in pastimes of love, and whose graceful, threefold bending form of Shama Sundar is eternally manifest. So it doesn't get old and worn out like we do, you see. It gets all, face gets all wrinkled and, you know, that like much old timers here in the material world, bodies, you know. The ears go bad, the eyes go bad. Krishna is not like that. It's eternally manifest. He's an eternal youth, decorated with all these beautiful, amazing qualities, surrounded by millions of purpose trees and gopis and gopas. It's just an amazing person. And the beauty of this is you can actually qualify, just as Brahmaji could see Krishna, we can also qualify ourselves. Can you imagine this? We can also qualify ourselves to directly see Krishna face to face, eye to eye. Do you know your prayer for that? You see? Jagannatha Swami Nayana Pattakami Baba Tume. My dear Lord Jagannath, Lord of the universe, please come to my vision. We just say that mechanically, you put our hearts into it. We sing Jagannath Swami Nayana Pattakami. We just say, okay, here's a mantra, or we put our heart and soul into it, actually begging Krishna to reveal himself to us. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Pattakami Baba to me. My dear Lord Jagannath, Lord of the universe, please come to my vision. Actually, Prabhupada told me. He said I become qualified to write songs about Krishna when I can see Krishna. He says, now you should qualify yourself to see Krishna. Prabhupada instructed me. I haven't gotten there yet, but working on it. Working on it. Just imagine if you go to write songs about Krishna that would attract the whole world to Krishna. That'd be amazing. Something if I could develop that ability, would be a real blessing. But anyway, this Krishna conscious movement is definitely where to be. It's the only place to be in this material world. Everybody else is going on in the animal kingdom. If you want to be a liberated soul, free from all this, the influence of the females of material nature, you have to be a bhakta, which means solid follower of Srila Prabhupada's teachings. You need to be initiated by one of his disciples who are strictly following him, and you have to strictly follow his teachings without any deviation from your every thought, your every word, your every deed, in all time, places, and circumstances. Prabhupada is an empowered spiritual revolutionary, and the more that we align our thoughts, words, and deeds with him, without even the slightest deviation, we also become empowered spiritual revolutionaries who can have an uplifting impact. It's actually his mercy acting through us who can have an unlimited uplifting impact on this material existence. It's our duty to be pure devotees and to make the world Krishna conscious. Prabhupada told us. It said, become perfect in understanding the science of Krishna, become guru, and deliver the world. So we have to get off this neophyte platform, caught up in, lust, anger, and greed, and all these other madnesses that have been entangled with for millions and billions of lifetimes. But we become very, very serious now to become qualified spiritual teachers, spiritual masters. Vacha vegam, manasakravya vegam, jiva vegam, udaropasta vegam, etan vedanyo vishaheta devvatsavam vimam pratipenchashisha. One who can conquer mind, words, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals, can make disciples all over the world. And one time, how Prabhupada translated it? Can make the whole world his disciples. Whoa! One time he did it that way, and the later days you didn't see it. You can make the whole world his disciples. So, there we go. Your mind, your words, your anger, your tongue, your belly, and your genitals. How close are you monitoring? How close are you keeping a watch on your mind? It doesn't go into nonsense things. And your words, the words you speak, how close are you monitoring the words you speak? You don't say some stupid nonsense thing. What about your anger? Do you get angry when you're corrected for doing something wrong? You get angry when someone points out if somebody did wrong. You get angry. What do you did tell me? You get angry? No. Anger means chastising the atheist. Anger means to be utilized in Krishna's service. You rascal, how dare you say there is no God? You see? Anger is meant to be used in Krishna's service, not to defend my false ego. You see? Mind, words, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals. The tongue, only prasadam. The belly, only... Our belly is automatic. You control the tongue, the belly is automatically controlled. You see? Because the belly then gives everything first for the tongue. So tongue and genitals. Well, genitals is a big thing because we're very lusty. It's a lusty age, you see. What about the genitals? Sometimes people write me they have trouble masturbating, you see. Well, you have to understand you're calling death very near when you do such stupid things, you see. The semina is meant to remain in the body as much as possible because then it rises to the brain and nourishes the brain for spiritual understanding. So it makes you intellectually strong to withhold your semina. So don't pass semina. Don't eat in such a way you pass in your sleep, and don't masturbate. It's a very important thing to keep that semina in. You see. Now, if you're married, you want to have children. Not that you can just pass semina. Pass semina is very, very weakening for you spiritually. Prabhupada gave a system for married people. He said once in a month, 4 to 6 days after the menstrual cycle, that's when she's most likely to get pregnant. And after at least 50 rounds of japa and having the blessings of the spiritual master. So if you do it according to that way, you're strong spiritually, you see. But this other idea going on this kind of recreational sex is okay. It's a very dangerous thing for our movement. It can actually destroy our movement. So Guru Maharaji and I are fighting against this idea of illicit sex. It's not really illicit, is it? With your wife, as long as you don't kill the baby. One thing is, if you have sex like that, you're not going to have very good babies. The baby will not be inclined to be devoted. If you want a baby who will be inclined to be a devotee, and a very strict, tremendous devotee, and follow the Prabhupada's instruction. 50 rounds of blessings of Guru, at least 50 rounds of japa, 46 days after the menstrual cycle. That's when she's most likely to get pregnant, so you don't waste your semen. So these things are really important. Pakshavegam, Manasakrodha Vegam, Vedam. Mind, words, anger, tongue, Bennington, are very important things. So let's see if we have any questions or challenges. Somebody want to argue with me? They think I'm off the track. Let's see if we have any questions. Y'all have any questions? Is there just two of you now? Three, okay. Jai, Azamat out there. I don't see him, but Azamat. There isn't Azamat. Y'all have any questions? Any challenges? Any resolutions? Nothing typing. Somebody give a minute to type it in. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So let's take a look at the verse again. Maybe something will come up. Take a look at the verse. Yeah. Garbhadakshana Vishnu. No questions at all, huh? Everyone's fully satisfied? Yes.
Gurudev, the question is actually about Vishnu Janaswami.
Yes.
I heard, and I just wanted to confirm if this was correct. I heard that his fall down was subtle, and he...
It's not known for sure, it's only speculation.
Okay.
If it's subtle like that, even committed suicide. Because everybody can subtly slip, it's not a big thing to think about. Think for a minute about illicit sex. Well, I don't like to have this very much sex. Just for a minute, oh, spit of the damn son. What is that verse? Vishaya venimartante nerar rashite nina vashavasham rashokeshra param vishvanibartate. Is that the one? No. I guess that's wrong verse. On account of the object of the sense, the person of attachment to them, is such attachment lust. I'm thinking there's another verse from the Jumanacharya. Yada, here. Yada varimam macheta Krishna padaravinde nava nava rasadam yaptaram turmasit tadavadi bhaktanari sangame smaryamane bhavati mukul nishtivanam cha. Very nice verse of Jumanacharya. But in thought for the day, yesterday and the day before. He said, ever since I've been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna, relishing Nava Rasa, newer pleasure, taste in that service, whenever due to my past nefarious activities, we could say, my past hippie life, or, he was actually a king, so he had his playboy days. He had previous playboy days, and he sometimes, whenever due to my past nefarious activities, I sometimes think of sex enjoyment. My lips curl with this tape, and I spit it. So it'll be good spitters. The thought comes to be a good spitter. Spit it, the damn thing. You damn thought, get the hell out of here. Don't use your anger to chastise the sex thought. You get out of here, you damn rascal. Don't you ever dare come back to me even within 10,000 miles of me ever again. You understand? And that way, really heavy with your mind. If some blessed thought comes, It's simply for producing children in your wife, according to religious principles. Sex has one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to beget saintly children who can save the world. That's all. Beget saintly children.
We're saying that semen needs to go up. Do we need to do something for it to go up?
Semen naturally rises. You don't pass it. It naturally rises and nourishes your brain. You keep it in your body. Don't pass it out. It nourishes your brain for more powerful intellectual understanding. So keep that semen in, brahmachari. It's valuable stuff. You can become a learned scholar by keeping your semen in. Very good for your brain. Keep that semen. Don't pass that semen. You keep your semen. It's valuable stuff for nourishing the brain. Some physical science here we learned from Prabhupada. Okay, anything else? All right, okay. Now we have Amal Purana. We've seen many senior devotees in Iskcon fallen down, so went into the position as my neophyte. You have to learn the lessons from those who fell. You got to be very strict. I know. When I got initiated, 3 of us, Ron the Bead Man was gone very quickly, and Palashta left very shortly after that. I found him on the internet. He was respectful, but he didn't want to be Krishna conscious. Can you imagine? He was initiated by Prabhupada. He doesn't want to practice Krishna consciousness. It's shocking to me, you see. It's shocking. He got initiated by His Divine Grace Shiva Prabhupada. He doesn't want to be his disciple, doesn't want to serve him, it's shocking to me, you see. But there's so many examples of it, you see. Because they didn't take proper shelter of the spiritual master and the association of devotees and these teachings. So all Purana, protect yourself, chant at least 16 quality rounds every day. Guru Mataji chants 32 rounds. Can you understand? She's chanting 32 rounds. We got to really look up to her. 32 rounds a day she's chanting. Chant at least 16 rounds and read at least every day at least 1 chapter from Prabhupada's books. Or an equivalent amount. In Krishna book, 1 chapter a day is pretty easy in 20 minutes. But Bhagavatam, maybe half a chapter. Depends on how the chapters are. But have a good regulated reading period every day from Prabhupada's books. Every one of my disciples should be going through all of Prabhupada's books again and again through the whole life. One book, the next book, and they can keep looping the loop through Prabhupada's books. And that way you've got His mercy. You got the split dust on your head. You read His books. It's by touching His books you make spiritual events. It's by putting His book on your head you make spiritual events. What's big with reading it, you see. There's great power. His books are not different from His lotus feet, you see. Not different from His lotus feet. So in this way, you protect yourself. Bhadradevi Dasi. How does understanding Krishna as the face of water, for example, compare with seeing the Lord face to face as He is absolute? Bhadradevi Dasi, your question is simply wonderful. Thank you for such a nice question. Actually, there's no difference. Actually, there's no difference. For somebody who's fully self-realized, drinking water and meditating, this is Krishna, it is good, it's not different from seeing Krishna face to face, eye to eye. Can you imagine that? Meditating that Krishna is the taste of this water. Krishna. It's as good as seeing Him face to face, eye to eye. It's as good as being in Goloka Vrindavan and being a part of His Leela. I'll even go that far. It's as good as being in Goloka Vrindavan and being once again absorbed in His intimate pastime. Just by remembering this was Krishna. So let's see what quality of remembrance we can manifest next time we drink water. It's Krishna. And an easy thing, you can recite it. I should write that on my canteen. I am the face of water on my canteen. I should write Rasa Aham Sukonte on my canteen. So, in Sanskrit. I think I will write Rasa Aham Sukonte, O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water. So take every one of these things. And here we have Chakravarti. Oh, very good. Loco, Chakravarti. Thank you, Chakravarti, for coming and typing it in here. I appreciate that. 38. One can take proper shelter with spiritual mastery without determination to stick to the principles. They fall down. So even though the intention is there, determination seems to be key for elevation. Is it right? Yes. Determination must be there, you see. What is that verse for determination? Dhridavrata, determined vow, you see. That reminds me. Thank you, Chakravarti, for bringing it. This reminds us of our wonderful story of the sparrow. Yes. I love this story. I don't remember so many things in the book. I would color you the brain, but this one I never forget. The little sparrow, you see. The ocean stole the eggs from the little sparrow. I probably use this as an example for determination. The ocean stole the eggs from the little sparrow. The little sparrow was, you give my eggs back. The ocean wasn't going to do it. So that little sparrow was determined, well, I'm going to dry up that ocean. Can you imagine a little sparrow wanting to dry up the ocean? Wouldn't that be impossible? Wouldn't that be a foolish thing to even think about? But she didn't care. She said, I'm going to dry you up, you rascal. So she went down and got a drop of water, maybe 2 or 3. She really guessed it was a big beak, right? 2 or 3 drops of big water, and back to the land, jump out on the land, go back and forth, everybody's laughing. Just see that stupid little bird, she's going to run herself to death. You see? But there's one bird, one person wasn't laughing, that was Garuda, the king of the birds. Just see how they're making fun of my little sister. This ocean is still on the egg. So Garuda came swooping in on Garuda Airlines. And he said, you rascal ocean, you give those eggs back right now. I'm going to fry you up, you rascal. The ocean immediately returned the eggs. So if somebody has the determination, they want to follow Papa's order to make the world Krishna conscious, everybody laughs. Oh, just see that stupid devotee, he wants to make the whole world Krishna conscious. Just see how stupid. Prabhupada said, to live in the world, that's the order he gave. So someone says, just see that stupid devotee, you can't even get up on time for Mangalarti and he wants to live in the world. Just see what a stupid idiot he is. But if that devotee is very fixed in his determination, that even if I have to take birth after birth after birth, I'm determined to carry the order of my spiritual master to live. Even if I have to take 1,000,000 births, it doesn't matter. I want to serve my spiritual master's order to live in the world. Somebody's going to see that and say, okay, we're going to do something to help that struggling neophyte. You see, we want to do something for his spiritual master. We're going to do something to help him, just like we would help a little bird. Okay. So, let's look at this question once again. The proper shelter of spiritual master and that determination is good. So even though the intention is there, the determination is very important, Chakravarti. Just always remember the little sparrow. She's your Siksha Guru. That sparrow is your Siksha Guru. She was very determined, I'm going to drive that ocean. You may have so many obstacles in your home life, in your mind, so many obstacles, but you're determined, even if it's impossible, I'm going to do it, even though everyone's laughing at me, it's impossible, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And then Krishna will make some special arrangement. You'll see, just like Garuda. He'll make some special arrangement to facilitate you in your determination. Bhakti Vibha. Recently, I was never a big fire for Holika Dham. I was at a big fire for Holika. At that time, I remember Krishna is in the heart. The fire was still, the heart was hurting. So I was affected how to understand it. Well, Krishna says, I'm the light of the sun. Now, you could go out and get a sunburn also, thinking about Krishna's the light of the sun. You have to be a little reasonable. See, Krishna's the taste of the water, so I'm going to drown myself in the ocean. You have to be a little practical. Doesn't change the fact that Krishna is the light of the fire, the heat of the sun. But you have to deal with these things in a reasonable way because Krishna is giving you that body to use in his service. So you have to take good care of it, like for Krishna. Okay. Well, looks like our time is up. We've gone a bit over time. Any challenges from the locals here? Any objections, corrections, revolutions, resolutions? Come on, challenge me. I'm going to challenge. Give me a challenge. Play an atheist. Play an atheist and give me an atheistic challenge. Just pretend like you're an atheist and give me a challenge. Yeah, give me a challenge. Yeah.
You said that this machine works by itself. I say nature. So.
This machine, I say a machine can't work by itself. It requires somebody to turn it on. Yeah, that's what I say.
Nature doesn't need.
How do you know? How do you know that? What's the proof? Can you prove it? That nature doesn't require anything, it happens automatically? Can you prove it?
Because.
See, once the machine is turned on, it keeps going automatically. Can you prove that nobody turned it on? What's your proof that nobody turned on in nature? What's your proof? Nobody turned it on.
I don't have a proof.
The machine's going on. We see the seasons, so many things. Can you prove it? No, you have no proof at all. Just blind faith. You want me to be a follower of blind faith? Get out of here. I don't believe in blind faith. You want to believe in blind faith, you can be a fool and idiot and irrational and stupid, ignoramus number one. If you want to do that, that's fine with me, but not me. I want to be an intelligent person, does things intelligently, with reason and logic and argument and good understanding of things. I don't want to be a blind follower of some stupid, sentimental speculations. Give me another challenge. Come on, let back to the devotees here. Challenges? Anyone challenge me? Done about. That's not challenge. Come on, give me a challenge.
I have a Mayavadi argument.
All right, let's do this Mayavadi argument.
On personality. They say that the personality is pretty much what's developed as soul interacts with the material energy. So the personality is just a covering of the material energy.
Your personality is definitely impacted by your association, there's no doubt. We agree with them.
So they say that once you are...
You don't really have a personality at all. You start with a blank, with a nothing, but then you take up. So you start off with no personality, you got one by association. Those are the same.
Yes.
You basically have ultimately you have no personality at all, you're just the one, and then you thought you were the two-ness because you're associating with the two-ness, so now you believe in the two-ness, but actually you're the oneness, right?
Yeah, actually, they don't have an explanation of how the two-ness came into existence. They don't have an explanation on how Maya actually comes into existence. So, but they do try to assert that the personality is a covering of Maya. But they don't explain how Maya comes into existence.
Yeah. Personality false is all just one. But how out of oneness could, see, oneness is truth and duality is untruth. There's two-ness. Even they admit two-ness. Maya is covering Maya, that's two-ness. So oneness is defeated immediately. There is no absolute oneness. There is none. Because two-ness and oneness are there. I'll both of them. That's Shinsha Veda Veda Tattva, that's our philosophy. We acknowledge the inconceivable, simultaneous oneness and difference of the living entity. You see, we admit the oneness and two-ness simultaneously. They don't. They from the position of two-ness, they talk about oneness. You see what I'm saying? It's contradictory. They talk about Maya and truth and dark, light and darkness. That's duality. It is two-ness.
Gurudev, this reminds me something from Prabhupada in a lecture I heard once.
Mm-hmm.
Prabhupada says actually we are the true monists because we say everything is Krishna. But Mayavadis, they say that there's Brahman and there's Maya. So
yeah, that's very good. Our monism is better than their monism. Everything is that Krishna. Actually, everything is ultimately Krishna. Krishna is energy one. One is different simultaneously. That's true. We're a better monist than they are. We see oneness better than they do. It's a very good point. Okay, now here we go. A challenge question. People say you are in Krishna devotees have not seen Krishna yet. I just saw him now on the altar. What are you talking about? Then why do you say we can see him someday? Actually, I can see him on the altar right now. I'm looking at Krishna right now as I speak to you. That's Krishna himself. Lord Damodar is manifesting himself right here in Austin. You tell me that's not Krishna? I say you're a rascal and a demon. That's Krishna himself standing on the altar. You see? So I'm directly seeing Krishna every morning, Mangalarti. That's how I would answer them. I'm seeing Krishna right now. He says, I'm light of the sun. I'm seeing the sunlight right here in the window. I'm seeing Krishna right now in the sunlight. You see, the sound and ether. My own voice is also Krishna. The sound and ether. The sound my voice is producing, that is also Krishna. So we experience Krishna in so many ways. Okay, Bhaktan Kritika. It is said the spirit soul is equal to Krishna in quality but not in quantity. But when it's equal But no one is equal to Krishna, so we are pure devotees of the same quality. Now, Bhakti and Karita, everyone, you are qualitatively one with Krishna, but not quantitatively. What are the qualities of Krishna? He's eternal, he's full of knowledge, he's full of bliss, and you, Bhakti and Kritika, are also not your body, but you, the actual person, is sitting within the body. You are eternal, you're full of bliss and knowledge. Right now it's covered by Maya, but it's there. You see, the valuable gem is there. It's simply covered by stool right now. The valuable gem is there. You have that same gem of eternity, knowledge, and bliss that Krishna has. Qualitatively, you are one with Krishna. Whether you're a pure devotee or everyone's qualitatively. The pure devotees realize it. Even the neophytes realize it to some extent. But the non-devotees don't realize it. But actually, we're all qualitatively, every single living being throughout all of existence is qualitatively one with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything more? Everybody satisfied now? Ready to get out and save the world? Make a spiritual revolution within your heart? See, whatever extent we revolutionize our hearts, to that extent we're empowered to revolutionize the world. So we're going to take this sadhana, our service that we do, whether it's washing pots or whatever it may be. We have to take our service very seriously, to be in a pure mood of doing service, in a mood of love and devotion. Not not like that. No, but let me do this a first-class job. You can stop at cleaning the pot is cleaning your heart. It's like we chant Hare Krishna to clean our hearts, but washing the pot also is cleaning our hearts. We're taking out the garbage. Any service we do for this movement, cooking, cleaning, offering arti, all these things, this is cleansing the heart. And the more we clean the heart, the more we become empowered to clean the global consciousness. Prabhupada even goes so far as to say, when one becomes completely pure in his chanting, he becomes Jagat Guru, and under his influence, the whole world takes up chanting Hare Krishna. So whatever degree of purity we're manifesting in our own consciousness and our own actions, our own speech, that purity has an impact on the whole world around us. You see, the whole world. You can impact on even in sitting in the temple doing some service, you're having an impact on the whole global consciousness just by to whatever extent you can actually connecting with Krishna. Because when Krishna becomes manifest, that has an uplifting impact on the entire material existence, actually. Whole material existence. So we got something else now. Let's see. Paramatma. One more question, Gurudev, in today's verse. The annihilation of the material world mentioned here after every kalpa, whether it's partial annihilation or full annihilation. It is partial annihilation, the entire universe is annihilated. Well, you'll look it up. Let's see. I did some study on this one. Maybe I'm not qualified just off the top of my head. But there's a partial devastation. There's a full devastation. Both are there. So I need to do some research on that. I don't remember the details. Paramatma, can you send me an email about that? I'm going to give you a very good authoritative answer. The difference between the partial and the full annihilation. I'd like to do some. I don't remember the full details, so I don't want to just speculate. So please send me that in an email, and I'll give you some authoritative information to help you on that one. Okay, this will be the last question now. Radha Saki Devi Dasi. I think I'm asking a dumb question. Why Krishna likes the devotees and his devotees more than his direct devotees? Well, his devotees of his devotees are also his direct devotees. You see? When I became a disciple of Prabhupada, I wasn't Krishna's devotee. You see? Now, in our disciplic succession, Brahma is directly a devotee of Krishna, and then everybody else is removed. You see? Prabhupada, disciple of a disciple of a disciple. But Krishna is very, very pleased when he sees you devoted to his devotees. That's the fact. He's very, very pleased when he sees you devoted to his devotees. Krishna likes both things. He likes it when you chant Hare Krishna, because now you're directly worshipping him. He likes it when you serve his devotees. It's like we offer obeisances. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Svarmaniti Namane Namaste Sarasvate Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nivishek Shushan Nivari Pashchitade Satanine. When we chant, we give our love to Prabhupada, and Krishna becomes very, very pleased. Oh! And not just thinking that only directly they'll be my devotees. You want to serve me through serving my pure devotees, then Krishna becomes more pleased with that. He becomes more pleased. Because his devotees are very dear to him. If they're not dear, if only Krishna is dear to you and his devotees, those rascals only like Krishna. Krishna's not going to be very happy with you. You don't like my devotees? You're not devoted to my devotees, you only like me? Think that you consider even the material world. There's some father, right? He has some children. And you hate his kids. Because you like the father. Why the father doesn't like me very much? I like him, but I hate his kids. No. It's common sense. You like his kids, you can be like it even more. You see? Or even a dog. If the neighbor's out walking a dog, I say, your dog's really ugly. Why don't you give him a kick? Think the neighbor would like that? Oh, your dog, my dear sir, your dog is so nice. He wags his tail in such a cute way. And that's what I like you. And it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing. Radhasaki Vividasi. When you love the servant of the Lord becomes even more pleased with you. So we'll go ahead and stop here. We thank everybody for tuning in. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.